Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Onewheel XR. At this point, it's been out for almost 3 years, so how cool or good can it be, really? If you are new to this channel and want to know more about the XR before I jump into the proper review, a month and a half ago, I think it was, I released another video which I'm gonna link right there. This one details my first impressions and experience riding this Onewheel, and if you haven't seen it yet, I think it's a good place to start. Still, it's a very good video, it's one of my favorites, so I'm just gonna put the link back there, and why don't you start from there? The rest of us are gonna hang in there and watch some interludes. Do you believe in ghost stories? I got 50 kilometers to go. Hey, I'm Simon and this is my ride. Can anyone please help me make it better?
Guess who's back?
Matches the dog.
Check out your brand new ride.
Yo, no freaking way, man. Well, this is what I'm talking about right here. Thank you, MTV, for pimping my ride. By the way, Exhibit, where you at these days, dog? We miss ya.
Definitive review.
Okay, so I've been riding this baby pretty much every day, sometimes multiple times a day, and I have to confess that I am no longer a 0.5. I think I've graduated to a full-throated, battle-tested, battery-drained 1. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I did it.
Shh, quiet. I've seen a couple of reviews on the internet before, and I know that what the people want, what the people crave, is numbers and spec sheets, right? You want math. I mean, alright, if that's what you want.
Spec sheet.
Okay, let me hit you with some technobabble numbers right here. The Onewheel XR has got a 750 watts hypercore hub motor. Say what? That gets you up to 31 kilometers an hour, which is around 19 miles per hour. Whew! At this speed though, things become scary, just be warned. Get this, it has a 324 watt hour NMC battery. Holy sh! On a full charge, this baby is gonna last you for around 20 kilometers on a flat level ground. A little bit more if you're going downhill, but a little bit less if you're going uphill. You want more? I'll give you more. Oh, the front foot pad has no less than 2 solid state MEMS 6-DOF sensors. I don't know what DOF means. I don't know what NMC means. I don't know what any of this means. All I'm saying is, regardless of the spec sheet, these things are very well put together, they're very high quality, and they absolutely don't feel cheap, which is good, because they aren't.
How much?
$1,800 US just for the stock Onewheel XR. Yo! Which converts to 2,300 Canadian plus shipping plus taxes. So it is, you know. You may not know this about me, but I break stuff all the time. But after 1,000 kilometers, including one nasty fall off a 22-meter cliff, just the board, not me, I can confidently vouch for the durability of this thing. And that the name I gave this board was actually spot on. Now this thing is not indestructible, but short of getting run over by an 18-wheeler semi-truck, or throw it out the window of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, and this thing is most likely going to be able to take it. It's gonna be scratched, but it's gonna be fine.
Ouch.
The aluminum rails that constitute most of the framing of this thing are super sturdy and they can absorb pretty much any impact that is coming at it at one wheel speed, 31 kilometers an hour, but that speed is scary. The stock foot pads are made out of super sturdy plywood. Now I know I changed the back foot pad just to try a different feel, but not because it was broken. I still have it here, and if something happens to the cush, I can actually put back the stock foot pad, no problem. The tire, the axles, the wheel bearing, all of it is a very, very high quality out of the box. There are no cheap parts to this thing. Better not be at that price.
Versatility.
I have been riding this thing over streets, sidewalks, bicycle path, fields of grass, dirt roads, fine gravel, coarse gravel, cobblestone, sandy beaches, uphill, downhill, middle of the day, middle of the night, from wind, rain, or sunshine. The Onewheel XR can handle all of it. Seriously, I cannot think of a different vehicle that has so much versatility built into it. Legally, you can't use an ATV or a dirt bike on the sidewalk, right? Mountain bikes and fat bikes are not as good as the Onewheel to slowly weave your way into a thick crowd without hitting anybody or anything or stepping on the dog's tail. And for the most part, electric skateboards, scooters, and unicycles are not as good to handle loose dirt and sandy beaches the way this fat-ass tire can. On the software side of things, there's the Onewheel app, which is super well designed, and it allows you to switch between a couple different modes of riding. Digital shaping, they call it. Sequoia is mellow and smooth, perfect for beginners. Cruise is more suited for, well, sustained cruising, like on a bike path or something. Mission is more tailored towards urban riding, weaving your way in and out of traffic, stopping and going at every stoplight. Elevated is specifically made for climbing hills. It has a slightly more aggressive torque and it raises the nose of the board significantly, allowing you more clearance as you go up the hill. And Delirium, which throttles acceleration curves, turn radius, and braking speeds to their most aggressive possible settings. Slight shift in your weight and you immediately feel it. It's just mwah. You can also create your own custom settings as well. It's just a couple sliders that you slide around to find something that is to your liking. You give it a cool name, you save it on your phone, and it's right there in the middle of all the other settings, and you can pop it anytime you want. So both the hardware and the software, when you put them together, it makes the Onewheel one hell of a versatile personal rideable vehicle. That was hard to say. Rideable personal vehicle. Machine Gun Kelly up in this bitch.
Accessibility.
Here's the question I get asked the most. How easy or hard is it to step on a Onewheel? Again, whole entire video dedicated to the 51st date with this thing. Learning how to Onewheel is way more approachable than I ever thought it would be.
You serious?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Seriously, if you get on one of these bad boys and you cannot figure it out inside of 5 minutes, there might be something wrong with you. I'm bringing this board everywhere I go, and for the most part, I let anyone who asks politely and seems trustworthy enough, I let them try it, and inside of 2 minutes, they are going and smiling. But here's the catch. Stepping on the Onewheel and start going is the easy part.
Hells yes!
Learning how to stop and then get off the Onewheel, that is the tricky part. Wherever you put your weight on, this is where the board wants to go, so if you step your back foot off, the front foot is just gonna go forward and you're gonna do a Van Damme split right there on the pavement. Again, the best and safest way to get off a Onewheel in the early stage is by jumping off the board with both feet in any direction you want. So, how accessible is the Onewheel? Well, putting the financial question aside for a minute, it is surprisingly easy and accessible, way more than I ever thought it would be. I mean, I was super afraid of this thing at the beginning, and now we're besties. Right, Willie?
Sure. Now lose 20 pounds.
What a goofball. Besties, I tell ya.
Hill climbing.
Oh, that's the bitchy part. See, Quebec City is steep. Think of it as a small San Francisco, but somehow steeper. And I'm sorry to say, I have hit the upper ceiling of what the Onewheel XR can climb. I mean, it is rated for up to 30% inclines, and for the most part, it can do it. But If you can't get a good momentum going into the climb, or if you have to stop midway through because of a traffic light, this thing is a battery killer. I have overexceeded the capacity of the motor to keep me upright multiple times on multiple climbs. Fortunately, because of the steepness of these inclines and because of the slow speed at which I get to climb those hills, I've always been able to step off the board and catch myself. Now going down a hill, oh, that's exciting, and that is generally super safe on the Onewheel. See, if you throttle your weight back as you go down, the Onewheel will brake. So you can actually slow down and control your descent as much as you want. And that has the added benefit of charging up your battery, which is a fantastic feature in a place like Quebec City. I have been able to get up to 10% of recharge battery just by going down one hill. But here's the catch. If you are going down the hill with a full battery and have to put on the brakes, the jolt might over-exceed the battery capacity, in which case the entire thing shuts down on you and you don't have brakes anymore, buddy. Actually, this is the one time I really scared myself. See, I was going down Col de la Montagne. It's got this crazy 180-degree turn in the middle of it. You are completely blind as to what comes up or down as you round this corner. So anyway, I got about a 94% battery. I'm following this minivan at about 2 lengths of car behind, and as he turns into the corner, some mouth-breathing moron steps into the street and decides he's gonna cross right in the worst blind angle of that turn. The minivan slams on the brakes. I also throttled back on the Onewheel as much as I can, but the jolt overcharged the battery. Everything hits 100. The whole thing shuts down on me. The tail slaps down and I start picking up speed again, tail dragging my way into the blind corner. Somehow, someway, I managed to tail drag, swerve into the other lane. I almost run over the stupid mouth-breathing moron who's busy giving the van 2 fingers and arguing that, somehow it's their fault. I step back on the front of the board, bring it to level, restart the whole thing, manage to swerve back into my lane, get to the bottom of the hill, throw the Onewheel aside and sit down for 5 minutes, breathing hard and just like, my God. This was so much fun! Don't try this at home, kids. Don't do it. So if you live in a place like Quebec City or San Francisco or anywhere where hills do matter, you do not want to go down a hill with a full battery, and you do not want to be going up the hill with not enough charge in the motor to get you there. So a little bit more planning is all it takes.
Pushback.
If you retain only one piece of information from this fantastic video review, I suggest it is the following one. Respect pushback. If you break it down in simple terms, the Onewheel keeps you upright the same way you balance a stick in the palm of your hand. If the stick falls one way, you gotta move your hand faster than the stick falls to catch it and keep it upright. But if the stick somehow falls faster than you can move your hand, down goes the stick. Now picture the Onewheel as your hand and yourself as the stick. As you shift your weight or fall forward, the Onewheel has to continuously catch up with you, and that's how you roll, baby. Works backwards as well. Pushback is essentially the Onewheel telling you that you are putting too much weight either forward or back, which causes the nose of the board to be raised in one final warning, letting you know that it's time to slow down. That's the speed demon in your ear telling you that, yeah, you got this. You got this, bro. Let's go. 31 kilometers an hour. Come on, you can hit 35. I strongly suggest you ignore that speed demon, because for all of its qualities, the Onewheel is not built for speed. There is literally a tipping point over 31, 32 kilometers an hour where the Onewheel is just gonna give out on you. Down goes the nose, up goes the tail, and ass over heel into the scenery you go. Plus, when you're riding in the 25-30 kilometers an hour range, or if you're going off-road in a trail, there's quite a bit of vibration that can occur, right? The wobbles, the bumps. It becomes pretty hard to discern what is a pushback than just a regular bump in those contexts. So I guess it's important to devote a part of your brain, say 5 to 10%, just looking for any possibility of a pushback occurring and being hard to discern. If there is any doubt at all, slow down, you moron. Oh, just live to ride another day. So you didn't feel pushback at all?
At all.
No?
At all.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little.
I felt it. So 5 to 10% of your brain dedicated to this. Otherwise, Splatty McSplat over here is, that's gonna be you. Sure, spec sheets are important. I guess it's a bummer that hill climbing is not as good as I want it to be, but really, and honestly, I'm here for one and one thing only, and that is the fun factor. From the first kilometer to the 1,000th, it never gets boring, it never gets old. If anything, it only gets more interesting as you build up your skills and confidence riding this thing. There's a whole bunch of tricks that are unique to the one wheel, bunks, curb nudge, sex change. So I'm just starting to dabble into the easiest ones of those. And although I never expect to become a full-on trickster like Bodie from the Float Life or Jake Leary, there's still a couple tricks I could learn. If for no other reason than impress the gallery at a stoplight, because that's the other major portion of the fun for me. All that sweet curb attention you can get by riding one of these things. Simon Says presents Curb Attention Satisfaction Index Top 5. Number 5, Smiling Mom and Pops. This happens when an elderly couple beams at you. Maybe the gentleman even give you an approbation tip of the hat, just to let you know that they are amazed at seeing the contraption from the future on which you're riding. I imagine that the first bicycle or motor cars had the same effect on the people back in the day, just like, what is that? My God, we are in the future. Number 4, Wishful Romeo. This one happens when a young couple, mid-20s, early 30s, generally the guy is buff with tattoos and the trophy girlfriend is just nose buried in her phone, not looking up at all. And the guy spots you from afar and yanks on her hand.
Look, this is the one wheel. This is the thing I was talking about. This is what I want for my birthday.
Sure, cool, babe.
Alas though, girlfriends never seem to look up from their phones. And I'm sorry to say, Romeo, but you, sir, are gonna have to pony up your own money and get your own fun. Maybe change girlfriends too. Number 3, Disembodied Query. This one happens when you're riding along and some voice coming from up or down or left or right just screams at you one question, just like, what is it called? Or how much does it cost? How fast does it go? You only have a fraction of a second to yell back an answer before you're out of range, and it's just like, one wheel, it's expensive, 31 kilometers an hour, but at that speed it's scary. This one is particularly fun to me because everybody in attendance on a sidewalks is just doing the tennis game thing where they look at one and they look at you and then they look at them again, and one disembodied query gets everyone's attention every time. Number 2, Wonder Kids. This one has the sweetest, most pure curb attention of them all. It was almost my number 1. This is simply when a young kid, 5 to 7, maybe 10 years old, see you pass by and they give you an absolute shocked look, jaw drops, eyes wide open, and they go, whoa! Pure, uncut, no cynicism, no sarcasm. I just turn around and I look at them and I go, right? You get it, I get it, we both get it. We understand the fundamental truth of the universe, which is every day needs to be fun, otherwise you're just old and unworthy of living. That's the truth. Kids get it, I get it. Do you get it? And number 1 of the personal satisfaction index, the Old Yeller. Now this only has occurred to me twice so far, but man is it great when it does. This is when an elderly person, generally a man, curses at you, shaking a fist or better yet, brandishing a cane overhead, and blurts out crap about the lost youth these days, and then back in my day we had it so much harder, and essentially treating you like a young punk, which as a 39-year-old bald man, I cannot get enough of. Like, if there is a fountain of eternal youth somewhere in the world, I bet that the water that you drink from it tastes exactly like that. So yeah, Onewheel XR fun factor, way up there. It is so much fun. So much fun. So much fun. So much fun.
Final thoughts.
It's great. If I am not able to convince you of this simple fact using all the words I've used so far, then nothing I could say could sway you. It's just one of those rare occasions where a thing is as cool as advertised. It's even more fun than it looks. And boy, I hope I've been able to capture some of that fun for y'all. But most surprising of all is how approachable this thing actually is. Even for someone well on their way towards their 40th birthday with no board sport experience whatsoever. To any older dudes or ladies out there thinking that, yeah, I should get one. Well, first of all, yes, you should. Second of all, do not listen to the speed demons that are going to start whispering into your ears ever. Don't do it. What? Are you afraid of something? There are other things out there that are more suitable to satisfy that speed demons. Things that I may cover in the coming months. And again, just to hit the nail one more time, in the eternal words of Electric Confucian Jimmy Chang, respect the almighty Pushback. Take your time, learn the ropes, tame the beast, and wear your goddamn helmet, even if it makes you look like a World War I Kaiser. Thanks for stopping by, and Simon says, get yourself a goddamn one wheel, if you want one.
Starting about 2 years ago, we said, let's sit down and let's go back to the drawing board. It needed to have more range, more power, and more rideability. The Onewheel GT.
God damn it, this GT looks sexy.